Hello and welcome to the SATLUJ TV podcast. Now, a common theme of many of our broadcasts has been to highlight how Sikhs, particularly in the Punjab, have been systematically targeted by the Indian regime since at least 1947 to drive their community out of existence. This belief is no conspiracy. The evidence is riven through Indian politics, commerce, society, legislation and even law enforcement. And in recent years, even Sikhs literally fleeing India for their lives are finding themselves still targeted for assassination by the Indian state in lands far, far away. Well, to examine the increasing evidence of this immoral and illegal oppression and what Sikhs can do to fight back against it, I'm joined today by our regular guest, Dr. Bakshish Singh Sandhu. Dr. Sandhu, welcome. Thank you for joining us once again today.
Thank you, Scott, for having me on your program.
It's a pleasure as always. Now, Dr. Sandhu, is this belief that the Indian regime is intent on driving the Sikh people from the face of the earth simply a conspiracy theory, or do you genuinely believe it is a real thing?
Angus, the Indian governments, right from the beginning of Sikh religion, have been engaged in dismantling the Sikh religion, Sikh identity. So they're doing everything, overt and covert operations. Overt operations are open genocide, and the covert are econocide, economic deprivation, unemployment, basically attacks on Sikh identity, their religious institutions, and controlling the land of Punjab. They are doing everything in their power knowingly. They want to assimilate Sikhism into the capacious Hindu folds, and they are relentless. So this is a lesson to the Sikh nation that you have witnessed, you have seen, you know the history. The Indian governments, no matter what they make up, no matter what time, they have their agenda. So it's a challenge to the Sikh nation that how you're going to stand up and protect your identity and protect your survival.
So if we then start to piece together the evidence, because of course you've made some quite big claims there and big accusations against India, can we start to drill down to some of these examples? Can you maybe start listing through some of the ways? Because of course it is a multilateral attack on the Sikh people. The government has allegedly been attacking the Sikh people from all sorts of different angles. Can we start to drill down in a little more detail now? What sort of things have the Indian government been doing specifically?
Okay, that's a good point, Angus. Let's start current situation. So the floods in Punjab. India is achieving two purposes. India is achieving continuation of genocide of Sikhs and economic deprivation. So the floodgates were open suddenly when the water was over the brim. So the water could not be contained because they let it accumulate knowingly, using water as a weapon. They're using water as a bomb. As a result of that, large areas in Punjab are flooded. And how it affects their life. A lot of people have lost their lives and has caused extensive damage to the economy of Punjab. It has caused extensive damage to the housing and the land, because the land is now covered by sand or mud. And all that sand and mud is not fertile. It has to be taken off or made to dissipate over a many years period of time. So they're achieving two things with one instrument, water bomb. So this water bomb is not a new thing. India has been using this instrument previously multiple times. Prime example is 1988. Man-made floods came, and similarly the water was released, and all the water that was released caused extensive damage to human life, animal life, economic deprivation, and destruction of Punjab's land in the form that's not usable for many years. So at the same time, in 1988, India used another instrument. That was declaration of emergency. In 1975, Indira Gandhi declared emergency in the entire country. But in 1988, they declared emergency only in Punjab. So what that means, you lose all your liberty, you lose your right to life. Any official of Indian government at a least suspicion can shoot you, kill you, and there's no repercussion. They have total impunity. So India is killing Sikhs economically and also taking their lives, a genocide. So this is the prime example, and that we can talk about starting from 1947, or we can go back. Whenever you see every year, there are happenings which indicate and point finger to only one subject. That's existential threat to Sikhs in India. Sikhs, beware. India has already controlled multiple aspects of Sikh life, religious institutions, your employment, your education, and there's an education deprivement, there is poverty, no jobs, and any jobs there are being taken away in the form of either land acquisition or farm pooling. We can talk in details about that depending on the time available.
Indeed. And one area I'd particularly like to focus on, I mean, we talked a lot, obviously, about the history. Certainly, the Punjab was carved apart in 1947-48, post-partition, and then likewise again in 1966, and maybe even talking about the floods that you referred to. Interesting that the Dam Management Board was actually formed in 1966, that same year when Punjab was carved apart. And that, again, has set maybe the scene and the opportunity for the Indian state to attack physically the Punjab, weaponising water. But there are more subtle approaches that the Indian government have been taking, particularly more recently. And this is attacks on the culture, the very cultural identity of the Sikh people. And of course, this has been attacks on the language, certainly on the education establishment, schools. Can you talk about how India has essentially been weaponising culture to try and drive the Sikh culture out of existence?
Okay, we can talk about Punjab first. See what happened. India deliberately did not create a state of Punjab. As many of our listeners know, Punjab was an independent country until 1849. Then it came under British rule and remained under the British for 98 years, from 1849 to 1947. All that time of 98 years, the British did not change any territorial integrity of the country of Punjab. But when the Indian government took control in 1947, and then starting 1 year later, in 1948, India started carving out areas of Punjab. They gave to Himachal Pradesh. So that is a proof that they had this sinister plan right from the beginning. Even before the independence, they had the plan how to dismantle Punjab, how to deny Sikh identity, their language. So in order to not allow formation of Punjab state, they denied the language status of Punjabi, because the state organization was based on the language, and the area was decided upon the language the people speak living in their state. So India has deprived Sikhs of their Punjab state or their Punjab country, their language. And now they're attacking Sikh identity, they're attacking Sikh religious institutions. And what they're doing now is that they are causing maximum repression of Sikhs. You're talking about the culture. So what's the culture? Culture is a way of life, how people live, what food they eat, what songs they sing, how they interact with each other. But India's basically expelling Sikhs from Punjab is a forced expulsion, that is an economic deprivation, and there's a life threat. There are threats to people's lives, and there's no livelihood, and Punjab land is being turned either into floods, into marshes, or into dry land. All these things are altering the Sikh way of life in Punjab. The India is successfully doing it. But the people of Punjab, it is the responsibility of people of Punjab to act. Now that we are telling them, now they cannot say, oh, we didn't know India was doing that. But now we are pinpointing and precipitating the idea that look, people of Punjabio, you have seen that now the floods affect every Punjabi, whether they're Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Christians, Buddhists, Zoroastrians, whatever the religion may be, the flood doesn't see, oh, this is a Sikh, I'm going to kill this person, and this is a certain other person, I'm going to spare that. Water does not see who you are, what your religion is. It sees you as a Punjabi. It's destruction of Punjab. So are the people of Punjab sleeping? Are the people of Punjab not paying attention? If people of Punjab, they eat food from Punjab, they drink Punjab's water, they drink Punjab's milk, and they breathe Punjab's air, which is being polluted by burning coal. So this is what India is doing to the people of Punjab. So this is the responsibility of the Punjab. If some people in Punjab living there and basically, as I said, eating, drinking, and breathing in Punjab, and their loyalty should be first to Punjab. Number one loyalty of Punjabis is Punjab. If they're loyal to India, they're basically unpatriotic to Punjab. If they're loyal to India, then they have no right to live in Punjab, because if they live in Punjab, they should be loyal to Punjab. But if they're loyal to other areas, then they're doing damage. They're doing maximum damage to Punjab, because if your rights are being violated, if your sisters are being raped, if you are economically deprived, and you still say, no, I'm with India, then you are mistaken. You need to think and ask your brain, am I right? Am I doing it right? And you answer, your brain will answer you. Next morning, when you wake up, your brain will tell you, you're totally wrong. You should be loyal to Punjab. And if you're not loyal to Punjab, then you have no character. You have no ethics. You have no moral. Are you going to be morally bankrupt that you are being beaten up, you are being deprived of your life, you are being deprived of your economy, and you still say, oh, I believe in India? Then you need your head examined.
So, Dr. Sandhu, you touched on an important point there, and that is, shall we say, the changing demographics of Punjab. India is playing the long game. It knows it can win this battle, this war, if it plays the long game. And that long game involves diluting that Sikh voice, that voice that the Punjabi Sikhs had in the past, by pouring Hindus in, changing effectively the demographics of the Punjab. Now, part of that overall long-term plan is also this very clear infiltration of the establishment, the democratic and organisational establishments of traditional Sikhism, and that includes organisations like the SGPC, the Shiromani Akali Dal, the political party effectively set up to give Sikhs a democratic voice. Now, we do know that these organisations have been infiltrated by the RSS. And by Hindutva, and therefore Sikhs are losing a democratic voice. Do you think that is really having a big impact locally within the Punjab?
I think it's absolutely right. So what happened in 1947 when India became independent? Punjab was a larger area. It included areas now in Himachal Pradesh, Haryana, and Chandigarh was also given to India. So that larger Punjab, the Sikhs had 37% of the population. So at that time, the Sikhs didn't have that much political power. What happened after they didn't give Punjab statehood, then the Sikhs basically unilaterally worked very hard. They did peaceful demonstration. Unilaterally means the other people of Punjab, other than Sikhs, did not join in the campaign of creating state of Punjab. So what happened? Finally, Punjab was reduced to much smaller area. Now the current Punjab area is 1/10 of the area of Maharaja Ranjit Singh's Punjab, 1/10. So what happened? There was actually maybe a good thing for Sikhs, because in the previous Punjab, their population was 37%. When Punjabi Suba was created, their population became 58 or maybe 60% or more than 60%. So then the political power came into the hands of Sikhs. So India didn't like that. India knew that Sikhs, they had false perception that Sikhs are not aligned with India. There was basically cookbook, a plan to basically confuse people, disinform people. Oh, the Sikhs are not patriotic. They are basically Deshtrohi. But the thing is, that there was like made up. So when India saw that the Sikhs have now come in power, they are in the majority in Punjab, they started doing several things. They started the fight between Hindus and Sikhs. India deliberately created a rift, created a wedge between Hindus and Sikhs. Hindu and Sikhs live amicably. Their relationship was just right. It was not a great relationship, but it was a relationship of countrymen living with each other, with people of different religions. But India drove the wedge. They basically turned Hindus into anti-Sikh. In order to do that, they will basically, if some Hindu dies, they will say, oh, Sikhs killed him. Oh, this is a Sikh action. So they told the Hindu community of Punjab, we are going to protect you. Give us your vote. The Sikhs are anti-Hindu, which are totally false. Even now, in Punjab, the Sikhs and Hindus can live in peaceful relationship. Look, when there was an armed struggle, none of the Hindus living in villages was hurt. And 10,000 Sikhs in Darbar Sahib were killed point blank and gunfire, but they didn't hurt any of the Hindus. Sikhs don't believe in attacking people of other religions or other denomination. There's no such thing in Sikh doctrine. So India is basically driving a wedge. So you're saying a dilution of the population. So what India is now doing is changing demographics. So when Sikhs were in majority and they made their own Punjab legislative assemblies, Punjab governments, the India didn't like that. So they dissolved the Punjab government, bring in central rule. And so they basically took the power away from the Sikhs. So when Sikhs are majority, they have political power. But India doesn't like it. So what they do? They bring in central rule. And now what they're doing is doing the same thing that was immediately after 1947. That's demographics. Now India is basically bringing more people from India. They're living in Punjab. They're changing the demographics. The Sikhs will become a minority. Once the Sikhs again become a minority, they will have fewer rights. They will have basically now, even when there's Sikhs and majority, the Sikhs have very little political power. How? The Indian government has a governor, or governor has to sign any bill passed by legislative assembly. Why? In America or in other countries, if legislative assembly has passed an act, there's nobody else to sign. The governor of Punjab, the chief minister, or in some other area, they're called governor. There's one entity that signs the document. It becomes an act or becomes basically a rule. But that's not in India. India basically controlling Punjab to the every extent. And then when in 1966, Punjab was made a country, they put clauses in such that made Punjab a practically defunct country, because every aspect of ruling, control is under the control of Indian government in the state of Punjab. Is practically a colony. That colony exists. Even the Indian experts, they said openly that Punjab is colonized by India and Punjab is colony of India. That must end. The only way to end it is liberate Punjab from Indian occupation.
So you did actually touch on another important point there, which of course land. Land is the most important thing. Khalistan can only exist if it has geographical boundaries, of course. And of course, one of the tactics it does appear that the Indian government has been doing since they colonised the Punjab post the British departing the area is they have steadily reduced the land mass of Punjab. I talked earlier about 1947 during partition when it was divided in two, and then again in 1966. So, but there has been a bit of a recent victory, if we can even call it that. There was this new initiative that came in, this land pooling initiative, whereby farmers could give up large tracts of agricultural land and be gifted urban land, a small parcel of urban serviced land. Now, this was seen at the time as a bit of a land grab. So again, one wonders if there is an underlying agenda behind this. And it does appear that the people of Punjab saw through this potential agenda. And I understand they did reject this. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, good question, Angus. So India is bent upon either controlling or taking over Punjab's land. Let's see the examples. Starting 1948, they started carving area of Punjab. Then they created Himachal and Haryana. And those people, by the way, had never asked for statehood. Those states were created so Punjab becomes smaller. So that's how they're taking the land. Now, how they're taking the land is they have built large highways. Those highways have taken a lot of land and they're giving the asking price to the farmers. So that's why the cultivable land is being reduced. And now, what the other thing they're doing, they did this farm laws. In 2020, they brought farm laws and the land will be basically leased to big corporations, and that will affect production, quality, distribution, and storage. And what other thing India did was they also annulled the holding law. That law was anti-holding. What people used to do was they hold, means they bring the large amount of let's say grain and they keep under their controls called holding, and that they buy a large amount of grain when the season there's a large production, and when they're away from the time of production, then that produce goes up in price. So they say basically keep the control on the commodities, and when there's a more demand, they raise the prices, and that was called anti-holding law. They stopped that. That means people can hold land. So who's going to benefit from holding or controlling grain? The big politicians or the big businessmen. So then there was in the farm law, there were several things, as I said, production, quality, distribution, storage, all that's going to be affected. But Punjabis, especially the Sikhs from Punjab farmers, they said, no, stop it. So, and with the advent or with the ongoing Punjab independence Khalistan referendum, when the first voting took place for the referendum in London in 2001, 3 weeks later, that farm laws were annulled. Now they brought in this land pooling. Land pooling is illegal. Government cannot possess anybody's land unless it's going to be used for, let's say, building roads or building airports or something that's good for the common good for all the people. So what we said was that Punjab government is totally doing illegal act. And 4 or 5 days after that, that was withdrawn, that land pooling was taken back. But it's not stopping. India will find other ways. And now by flooding, that's taking Punjab land out of commission. So that's the economic deprivation. That's economic deprivation of Punjab. And then basically Punjabis are being forced to leave Punjab because there's no adequate ways to employment or make a living.
And actually, that's an interesting point, because there was a viral video that was released recently that went around social media that allegedly showed a member of the Bakra Dam Management Committee during an operational meeting making reference that they will deliberately flood the Punjab until they can, I think the quote was that they will not even be able to play a flute. Now, it does feed into this belief, this accusation that is quite public now, that the flooding in the Punjab was deliberate. Do you think, and do you support the idea that somehow this flooding is an element of the Indian government weaponizing water, and particularly as a punishment against those very same farmers that forced Modi to do a U-turn in 2021, 2022, and of course, recently, with these new laws? Do you think that does form part of a collective punishment?
So Angus, what India is doing, India is killing the hen that lays golden eggs. So what? Punjab is a fertile land place, lot of production. Punjab supplies food surplus to 400 million Indians. But India doesn't care about that. India does not care about the 400 million Indians, Bharati people who basically depend on Punjab's grain. But they want to kill the land. They want to occupy the land. They want to make it like flooded, so no crops can be raised over there. So that's a deliberate attempt. It's not new. This is one of the several aspects of controlling life, controlling economy, controlling religious institutions, controlling education, everything. So Punjabis have to wake up. We are shaking up Punjabis. Punjabi people, wake up. You have to fight for your rights. Now, let's say that you like India, for sake of discussion. But who's giving you food? Punjab gives you food. Who's giving you water? Punjab gives you water. Who gives you air to breathe? Who gives you crops? Who gives you electricity? Punjab water. And Punjab water control is under Indian government in violation of Indian Constitution's riparian rights and international riparian rights. So India is violating two laws, their own constitutional law, the riparian rights, and the international riparian rights. Does India care? No. I am challenging the Punjabi people that what our India is doing is for your detriment. So if you don't wake up today, then your children will curse you that you deliberately deprived Punjab and Punjabis and the future generations of its right. Land ownership, water ownership, electricity ownership, education, employment, all that are being deprived by the current and all Indian administration. So Punjabi people, they have to think and come together. Look, we are Punjabi first. If Punjab survives, we survive. If Punjab drowns, we drown. Then comes religion. Religion is your own proposition. Religion, your own idea. Inside your home, you can pray, you can worship idols, you can recite Guru Granth Sahib, do namaz, do Christian prayer. It's inside your home. Don't make it an issue of Punjab. The issue of Punjab is people of Punjab, economy of Punjab. What was Maharaj Ranjit Singh doing? He didn't affect any religions. He supported all religions. That's a Punjab we want. We want Punjabis to prosper. We want Punjabis to be economically powerful, economically adequate. Now, there's poverty. People don't have food. They don't have medicines for tomorrow. They basically are made or converted into beggars. Punjabi people, do you want to be beggars? And you were in the economy number one in 1947. Now you're near the bottom of the ladder. Can't you think? Can't you realize? Now, why don't you get together? My Punjab de Sikh organization, I am saying this message to the Sikh organization of Punjab. Yeah, you honor the people who kill Sikhs. Is your brain in the right place? You are honoring the Gandhi family. Why? They killed 10,000 Sikhs. They carry Sikh genocide. The Congress Party of India in 1984 November, they had connivance. They had a meeting, go and kill Sikhs, mark their houses, and you're honoring those people? Where's your commitment? Where are your ethics? What are your morals? Can't you understand that just for power, you are putting the life of Punjabis on the line? Is you have realized none of the Punjabi governments and none of the Indian governments care about Punjab. They don't care about Punjab. They want to control your land. They want to disrespect your women. They want to deprive you of your education, everything. And now India has started doing transnational repressions and assassinations. Why can't you get it? Punjabio, and I'm telling all the Sikh organizations have now the obligation. It's now their duty to join the campaign of liberating Punjab from Indian occupation. If, let's say, Sikhs for Justice leading the campaign, there's no hierarchy in Sikhs for Justice. Everybody is a worker. Everybody is an activist. Nobody is the president of Sikhs for Justice. And that's why We made it this way. So people don't think, I want to be president first. And if they're not president, they say, I'm not going to work because I'm not president. But we have keep it open. You're all equal. You're activists, you're directors, actors, activists. So let's join together. If all the Punjabi organization join together, it'll be easier. And the people of Punjab and the Sikh organizations who do not join the campaign for liberation of Punjab, they're responsible for prolonging slavery of people of Punjab. They are responsible for deepening the slavery of Punjab. You have to wake up. It's time to act. Nobody is giving you any medals. Nobody giving anybody any medals. So you'll get your medal when Punjab becomes liberated. That's your medal. Let's look at that. Let's work for that. That's a medal we all will own.
Powerful words to end on, and absolutely it does appear that there is only one solution to this, and that is of course Khalistan. But there we must leave it, and we'll be talking again with Dr. Sandhu soon again to continue our discussion. Dr. Sandhu, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us. And thank you for watching the SATLUJ TV podcast. We will see you next time.